Christmas. Hey guys, so welcome back. It has been an eon since I have filmed anything. I have no excuses, I'm sorry. So today, what I'm doing is I'm pretty much just going to run you through all the books that I've read in the last 3 months. I think it's been about 3 months, I'm not actually sure. But I'm going to run you through pretty much the second half of the books that I've read this year. So my goal at the end of this year was to read 50 books, and I've only done 31. I've only read 31 books, and I'm probably only going to get one more in before the end of the year, so I guess it's not so bad, but I didn't finish it, and I wanted to. But anyway, so I'm going to just jump straight into it, because I have a lot of books here to talk about, and I do not have much time, so yeah, let us begin. The first book that I've completed since the last time I've spoken to anyone is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. Now, this book was amazing. It follows the story of a circus that pops up at nighttime, and I just personally fell in love with this book about halfway through. It wasn't immediately, but this book just hit so close to home, and it was just so magical and heartwarming, and the atmosphere of the book was pretty much the best thing about it, and just like being immersed in the circus world was just amazing. So I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars. The second book that I completed was Orange Part 2. It is the second part of the Orange collection, and it continues the story of the kids who received letters from their future selves to kind of fix the past and all of the mistakes that they made. So I really enjoyed this when I read it. I think I read it again in one sitting because it was just so good, but it was really emotional, and I ended up giving this a 5 out of 5 stars. The next 2 books that I read were the start of a manga series, and they are Noragami, Stray God. These were pretty interesting. They were fun, just little casual halftime reads. Pretty easy to get through. I like them a lot more than the anime. I've watched the anime, and it's not as adult, I guess, but I'm really enjoying the manga series. I've got the third one, I haven't read it yet, and I gave them both a 3 out of 5 stars. So the next book that I completed was The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss, and oh my god, I literally cannot put into words my feelings and my love for this series. It is possibly one of the best series that I have ever read. I think it is actually probably maybe the best series I've ever read. I'm not too sure yet. The third one isn't out yet, so I'm going to reserve that judgment for when that comes out. Pat, get on that. When is the third one coming out? I need it. I need it now. But this story is the continuation of the Kingkiller Chronicles. It's the second book, and it follows Koth, who tells his life story to a chronicler. I really enjoyed this, and I cannot wait for the third one. I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars, which I actually think is not enough. Not enough stars. The next book that I read after that was When We Collided by Emery Lord. So this is a contemporary novel following the dual perspective of Jonah and Vivi. This was a really good book. I recommend everyone read this, and I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. So the next book that I read took me like 2 months to finish, and it is Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. I watched the Outlander series before I read the books, and I found that because they're so similar and so faithful to the books, it was really difficult to get through this book because I kind of already knew everything that was going to happen, and I think I didn't leave a big enough gap between the first season of the series and the book. So that's why it took me several months, and also it just wasn't a very thrilling story, and I'm not sure if that's just because I already knew what was going to happen or if it just wasn't written very well. I'm really not sure on that, but I ended up giving it a 4 out of 5 stars because I still really enjoyed it, and I really loved the show, and I've got the next 2. Not sure when I'm going to get to them though, because I watched season 2 of Outlander, and now I'm going to have to leave a significant gap in between now and then so I can read it. Anyway, 4 out of 5 stars. Pretty solid book. So the next book is This Savage Song by V.E. Schwab, and oh my god. Reading this book was the first time in a really long time that I felt really connected to a story and to characters, and I was just so sucked into this world, and it was just such a good book, and I'm so excited for the next one to come out. It's my first Victoria Schwab book that I have read yet, and I'm very excited to pick up all of her other ones because she's just such a good writer. I gave this book a 4.5 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read was another one that took me a really long time to get through, and that is If at Birth You Don't Succeed by Zach Anna. This is his memoir, I think it is. It's either memoir or an autobiography, but basically Zach Anna is a comedian who has cerebral palsy, and this basically just follows how he started. The first bit that we hear about him is how he won a TV show competition on Oprah, and he got his own TV show, and it just sort of all kind of unfolds from there. But it sort of goes through all of the issues that he's kind of struggled through, and how he's kind of just dealt with having cerebral palsy and being a comedian, and how he goes through that. So this was pretty interesting. Towards the end of it, I sort of felt like I was prying a little bit too much into his life, and it was kind of just like sort of information that I didn't really want to know about him. I'm not sure if that's just because I am not interested that much in him as a person, or if I just don't like reading autobiographies because I feel like I'm prying way too much into other people's lives. So I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. So next was Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins, and this book I think I read in one sitting. This is a contemporary series that follows Anna, who is forced to go to boarding school in Paris to complete her high schooling career, and she falls in love with this guy, and it's just a really, really good light-hearted contemporary story. Pretty easy read, and I really enjoyed it, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. We're near the end. We're nearly there. So the next one is The Thousandth Floor by Catherine McGee. I have a lot of mixed feelings about this book. I think I enjoyed the world of the book and like the sort of setting that it took place in, but some of the characters I just really was not into, and I just could not deal with their storylines. It's a multiple perspective book, which is good because you sort of get to experience all the different elements. So basically the story follows a futuristic tower in New York that has 1,000 floors, and it's kind of like the higher up on the tower that you are, the higher your social status, basically. So it follows Avery, who lives on the 1,000th floor, a couple of her friends that are a few floors down, and Rylan, who lives on the 32nd floor. And it's just kind of like a really interesting gossip girly kind of type world, and that's what I really enjoyed about this book. But yes, I have mixed feelings, so I ended up giving it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. So finally, this series that I read, I finished last night actually, and it's just so fresh in my brain and so fresh like on my feels basically, and it's the Illuminate Chronicles by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, and oh my god, guys, this series is just so good. I have no words on how good this series is, and I think just everyone should read. They are a sci-fi kind of thriller fantasy story, I guess. Sci-fi is fantasy anyway. Anyway, basically it's not written like a normal novel. It is basically a compilation of a heap of files that sort of explain an event that happens in the book. In the first book, the two main characters are Katie and Ezra, and their planet gets attacked by a biotech company thing, and they have to flee, and there's like a big chase, and basically this book is just kind of like a compilation of files that sort of follow that story. I immediately fell in love with the characters. The characters are the strongest part of this story, 100%. Absolutely loved the characters in this, and the way that it's written really helps to unfold the story in a really good way, and I just really, really enjoyed the way it was written, and it was just such a nice, refreshing new way to read a book, and it was just amazing. I hear the audiobook is also really good, so maybe when the next one comes out next year I might do the audiobook again to read them, to re-immerse myself into this world, because oh my god, it's so good. And Gemina follows two different main characters. It follows Hannah and Nick. Initially, because I was just fresh off Illuminate, I was just like, I don't know how I feel about this, like am I gonna miss Katie and Ezra, but immediately I was just in love with Hannah and Nick and how their story happened and everything. Oh, my feels. Oh, it's just, they have such a good way of just hitting you in the feels and just like completely ripping your heart out. And I love this series. I wasn't too sure about them at the beginning when I was reading them. I was just like, oh, I feel like they're a bit overhyped. Like I wasn't super into the story. But like once I got halfway through Illuminate, that was it. I was done. And I actually think I enjoyed Gemina a little bit more than Illuminate, mainly because I think I preferred Nick and Hannah. And I'm not sure if that's because of a thing that happens in the book that I don't want to give away, but I just prefer Gemina because of the characters, and actually really enjoyed like the kick-ass female thing that they have going on. It's just so good. I gave Illuminate 4.5 out of 5 stars, and I gave Gemina 5 out of 5 stars. So yes. So these are all of the books that I have read in the last like 3 months or so of this year. I'm probably not going to get another one in, so I'm going to call 31, maybe 32 as my final tally for 2016. What a good year for books it was. This was a good book year. I'm really impressed with this year. Oh god, that's heavy. But yes, so thanks for watching, guys. I'm probably gonna be back. Like, I'm not gonna make any promises though, because I'm flaky and that's who I am as a person. But until then, don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you guys in a new video soon. Goodbye!